Welcome. It's Blast and a Half. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. It's middle of the week. It's also the middle of the month. So, why I'm telling you all these things is because my guest today is somebody who keeps track of progress, keeps track of time, keeps track of where we are in this world because he's focused on mindfulness. But most importantly, what you need to know about the gentleman that you are about to meet. His name is Vamsi. Vamsi is not only my coach who has tripled and quadrupled my business, but he's my go-to guy. He's the guy that understands the big picture and also pushes me, which is why I included this question in the chat. So let us know what that one difficult thing you want to start doing is today. Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Let us know. Vamsi Polimelta is unstoppable. And what makes him unstoppable is the secret ingredient that we're going to talk about later. So I don't want to give it all away. For now, what I want you to do is welcome Vamsi and thank you for being here. And thank you for just all of the love, pushes, encouragement, positivity, and also uncomfortability that you drive for so many of us that are on LinkedIn and in our mastermind. And please, say something.
Absolutely.
That you wanna kick.
Lauren, I just wanted to say, start with gratitude and really grateful for this opportunity. I wanted to say, everyone, I heard this quote long ago: be so good at what you do that no one else in the world can do what you are doing. Lauren, you are one of that example for that quote. Being who you are, the way you show up, the way you care about people, the way you think about like your sons, your husband, your clients, all the friends. This is like a very rare in this world.
Thank you, Vamsi. I'm so excited. We're getting a hello from London. Hello back, or tally-ho, whatever you guys say out there. Shiana, Denise, and Venkat, always so great to see you. And please answer that question because we're not going to take this lightly. We really want to help you today and also share with you some secrets for how you can accelerate your success. First and foremost, I would really love it, Vamsi, if you shared some snippets of your early years, because who you are today is not that person. And I know a little bit about your story from your school years, some of your early careers, and some of the defining moments that led up to you launching Make More Leaders. So please share that with some of the folks out there because they don't know what I know.
Absolutely. I started from very humble beginnings. My parents were middle class, hardworking, and we used to be 5 members: me, my sister, my parents, and my grandmother. We all used to live in a 1-bedroom apartment for entire my childhood, and we never worried about that. We are always like a happy, and we started from there. And this is something that I heard it from my grandfather when I was younger. It does not matter where you are, it matters where you are headed. He pointed that to my parents. And I did not understand at that point, but now I can clearly understand. It doesn't matter where we are right now, but it matters where we headed. And throughout my school year, Lauren, I was a C- student. I was not like a good at academics. I was not good at many subjects. But that C- thing became my blessing. I'll explain why. Because if you are a topper in school, you have so much pressure on your plate. Expectations are so high, and which is good in the education system. You're topper this year, expectations, you're going to be topper next year too, and the next year too. But once we come out from the education system, once we get into the corporate world, being the topper is not that easy thing. And you really wanted to go by book. You really wanted to satisfy people to get that appreciation. That is like a topper mentality, right? So I was almost like a C minus. I was just like barely making it. I was always like looking for ways. How can I just like find a different way to come across this? So that helped me to start thinking differently, start thinking outside the box. So I'm glad that I was not topper in school. And also I saw so many people who are toppers in the school are not really successful in their careers
Oh
because
my
they
goodness,
put
right?
themselves in the box and they're trying to prove, they're trying to please people, and they ended up staying there.
Absolutely. My dad used to say people peak at different times in their life. And I used to, I mean, I was a good student. I wasn't a great student. But the point is that I always aspired to be great. And I thought, oh, it's going to be all downhill from here. I had that idea in my head. I also recall you saying that there's only two choices for what you can be when you grow up in India. What are the two choices? And why didn't you pick either one of them?
Absolutely. So if you're from India, anybody's watching this, or you've grown up in India, uh, only three choices, not
Oh,
two.
three choices.
First choice, you need to be an engineer. Second choice, you need to be a doctor. Third choice, you are a failure.
Oh, good.
So definitely nobody wanted to be the third choice, including me, even though I was C minus. I happened to choose the engineering field, not because I'm so good at that. The reason behind, if you're familiar with Indian atmosphere, it's so hot outside. And all of my cousins, including my dad, like he was into the civil engineering side. So they used to work very hard in the hot weather. I thought like, okay, that's not good for me. I don't like enjoying time in the outside. I picked the computer science because computer science happened to be inside the air conditioning room. I choose that route. And after that,
Great,
like, I
great
became
thinking.
really good at that and started enjoying that and spent the two plus decades in that field.
Oh my goodness. And then what was that defining moment, if it was one moment or five moments, that led up to you saying, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm not going to do this corporate thing anymore. I'm going to start this company called Make More Leaders, which is truly one of my favorite company titles because it says it all and it's short and it's sweet. But what was that seed, and why did you go with it? Because that's a big risk, right? Because you may have been a C minus student, but you were very successful in corporate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this started with me investing my time and money into my personal growth. So this started about like 13, 14 years ago. Uh, I started putting a little bit of what I was making into my personal growth. I started seeing a lot of improvement for myself. And at one point, I realized I don't want to be just a consumer. I wanted to create. There are like a different modes in the personal growth. A lot of people, Lauren, they just go and consume, consume, consume. They don't create anything. So I went from consumer to create. So I started like helping people in the corporate, and I became an advisor for CEO for one of the large healthcare companies. And at that point, I got to know so many things that are going on the top floor. And I saw I really don't want to be that. I really don't want to be sacrificing all these things to get that title. And
Mm,
at that moment, I realized I think like my purpose of my life is to share the greatness that is sitting inside of me to the external world. And that is the starting point. And one of my first client happened to be your friend as well, Venkat. And
woo! Here he is. Here he is. Here he is.
he's there. He is Venkat. He happened to be my first client, and I started coaching him. And after that, rest is history.
Yes. Wow. And so you had this idea and you went with it. And that, let's just face it, that was not easy, right? That was not like, oh, I'm just going to do this. And for everyone here on this call, there is something back here that you want to do too. For some people, it's, landing their next big opportunity where they're able to impact. If you know me well enough, you know that I'm not going to talk about the cliche of the dream job. I don't use that term. And there's a reason for it because you're constantly iterating. I want you to get to that ideal role and really drive that fulfillment. And so what we're going to talk about right now is this through line, right? Because most people are not looking for mediocrity. At least if you're here, you're not signing up for mediocrity. But success, of course, is something that we all use as a placeholder for a lot of other things. And I'm curious, super curious, about how you define success and part of the practices that you teach with respect to what success is all about. Because there's a very specific clarity that you talk about with the difference between success and failure. And I'd like you to share that, because failure isn't like you screwed up, right?
Right.
But help us understand more of what I'm hinting at here.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Lauren. Again, success is highly personal and subjective. So I wanted to give like a long-term view and also a short-term view. Let's start with a long-term view. Think about 90-year-old self, of your 90-year-old self, and the version is saying to you at 90 years, you played full out. That version is feeling you are really, really good. You did every single thing that you're supposed to be doing. You need to always, when you are thinking about success, you need to think about the long-term view. And this is the poem. I was pretty weak at English when I was in my middle school time. One of my teacher, she asked me to tell the poem. I could not tell it like on 10 times. And she said, like, the homework and the assignment and punishment for you, read this poem 100 times in front of everyone, 100 times. That was the punishment. I got it. And I read that poem. I did not understand single thing. I wanted to read that poem to you. This is the poem by Rabindranath Tagore, one of the greatest person from India. So the poem says that spring has passed, summer has gone, and winter is here. And the song that I meant to sing remains unsung. I want to repeat that poem for everyone.
Yes, I have the chills.
Spring has passed, summer has gone, and winter is here. And the song I wanted to sing remain unsung. This is the person that he wrote it, somebody with a lot of regret on their deathbed.
Mm.
They've been waiting for the perfect moment. They've been waiting for the perfect opportunity. They've been postponing the things. They've been just like a stringing and unstringing their instrument, but they did not sing the song. So you don't want to be that person when you are 90 years old. You need to always think about, a lot of people, they think about success is all about the material things, the title on your business card, the bank balance that you have, whatever the materials that you have. That's not only the success, Lauren. So there are multiple things that you need to think about. You need to start thinking about what is that internal meaning to you? Is your external world is matching your internal world? If the answer is no, there is always an opportunity how you can correct this. And many people that we know in this society, in this corporate world, they are driving their first gear at 80 miles an hour speed. You know, doesn't matter how good the car is. If you're driving 80 miles an hour on first gear, it's going to burn out.
Absolutely. And that's a metaphor I'd like you to delve into more. Let's talk about the four wheels on the car, because this is something that always sticks in my head. And I think it would be very powerful for other people to start wrapping their head around this visual.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe you can type in the chat if you're watching this live. What is your favorite car?
Put in your favorite car, everybody.
What is your favorite
Mine's
car?
the BMW 2002. That's my like wish car that I'm going to have. It's vintage. So in other times.
Absolutely.
So whatever that car is, help us understand why we're talking about this.
Yep. I just got my Tesla recently, Performance Model Y, and very excited about it. Beautiful car. Okay. Maybe I'll take my car as an example while you're typing in the chat. Let's imagine the car got four wheels. The driver side, front wheel, passenger side, front wheel, driver side, rear wheel, and the passenger side, rear wheel. And let's put a name to each wheel. Okay. The first wheel, the driver side front wheel, is your career and your finances. And that wheel is spinning at 150 miles an hour speed. And the second wheel on the passenger side front wheel is your health and your fitness. For many people, unfortunately, that wheel is a triangle.
Totally.
And the rear wheel is about your relationship with yourself and relationship with your family members, your kids, maybe your parents. That wheel is a square. And the final wheel is about your contribution, what you're contributing back to the world, your spirituality, who you are being in this world. That wheel is a smaller circle. Just imagine you are sitting in that brand new car, $100,000 car, with your family members, with those wheels. How long you wanted to drive in that car? Even though you paid so much money, it got like all the bells and whistles, you don't want to sit in that car for too long. You wanted to get out. And also, people who are sitting, your family members, they love you, but they don't want to sit in that car, right? So that's how you need to start defining, like, what is my life really like? Is this like a title matter to me when I was 90 years old? No. Always remember this, everyone. If you go to cemetery, there are three things that you see on every stone. This is the first one is your birth date. And the second one is the date that you left your body. And there is in between a dash. The dash represents your life. Every single day, you need to be start asking about, did I dream big? Did I live fully today? Did I let go of the things that no longer serving me?
Oh, yes. And I do want to call this out because you are definitely touching and making more leaders right here. This LinkedIn user says, time to change the tires. And Becky Bach, I love you. I love this analogy, and I love my BMW #1. And we got some other great cars here. Michelle, Swami. I liked his answer. He's all about the reliability. And we got Venkat with his Genesis, and we got a Jeep Cherokee in here, and of course from Denise, her car, the Red Infiniti. So fantastic. I love this analogy. I think about it often. I think about how I over-index in this one place. Sometimes, I'm just focused on my career, and I think that is going to solve all my problems when all these other wheels are, either flat tires or need more air. So that's a super powerful visual. I want to move
simple,
over
right?
to something.
It's very simple.
Yeah, it's super simple. I want to get candid here because this is going to probably shock and surprise a lot of people. I asked you, I said, over the past X period of time that you've been investing in your career, how much money do you think you've put into this? How much in that bank account have you accumulated? And then the bigger question is, and why? Separately, what is the return on that investment? So you answered and said that over the past 13 years, you've spent about $500,000 on your personal development. I did the math. That's about $62.50 a day. So what, Vamsi, was the reason for that? And what is the ROI on that? Because you and I both know this. Recessions come, people get afraid, and that's the first thing they stop doing. They think, oh, tell us why that's not necessarily the smartest direction.
Absolutely. To start with, I did not put like a $500,000 in a single time.
Right.
This is over like a 10, 12 years time frame. And I wanted to give a little background where I started from. When I was 19 years old, because of my passion towards the computers, because I don't want to stay in the sun, I ended up spending in the air conditioning room for like a 15, 16 hours every day. I got a job in computer science. So I was making about $30 a month. But my communication at that point was pretty bad. I started investing into my communication at that point. That helped me to go from $30 a month to $3,000 a month. I went to Singapore. It's 100x return, right? From there, right now, if you look at like maybe 25 years later, I'm making like a $3,000 an hour.
Right.
So that's because of my investment into my personal growth. And time is more valuable than money. Always, like, you need to think about when you are investing something, time, income, and assets. Income and assets always are, you can just like make it infinite, but time is the one which is finite. How can you compress the time, right? When you wanted to go from point A to point B, if you're going alone, it may take like a 2, 3, 4 years for you. If you have somebody, for example, like in the career coaching space on the executive level, people like Lauren, if they can show you the path 1, 2, 3, if you just apply that, you can bypass the time. You can save like a maybe 2, 3 years of learning curve, all the trial and errors, by just taking those 3 steps, which is exactly the same thing that I did over the time. And that happened to me. And also, it's not like maybe you're thinking 500,000 is a lot of money. Just like I take a pause here and think about how much money that you made in the past 20 years. Just do a math, like answer the question. If you're anywhere in the corporate, the answer is like maybe little over $2 million, right? Do you really have those $2 million in your bank account?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. You put it somewhere, you put it on something. So how about you start investing that money into yourself? There are like a different types of investment anyone can make. Some like a shiny objects. I really wanted to buy a big bag, or like maybe big fancy thing, or a home theater system. That's like a shiny investment. It's not going to give you anything. The second investment, maybe you can go and buy a real estate. You can go and invest in stock market. So the market, if market is going up, you feel happy because the value of that investment is going up. Whereas if market is going down, you feel dull because the numbers are going down. The third type of investment, Lauren, I think like everyone, all of you need to think about investing on yourself. Because the moment you start putting money into yourself, you are growing. The fulfillment that comes with it, nobody can take away from you. No matter what happens to the world, no matter what happens to the stock market, you are becoming more valuable person. You need to be start asking how long I wanted to stay in the same job, making the same number. Like maybe I wanted to make 10% next year, 15%. Or if you start investing, you can make like maybe 200% next year. Just think about our friend Venkat. He just quit his job 4 or 5 months ago, and he was just thinking, "What is my next step here?" And he started investing into his personal growth, and for almost like 4 or 5 years now. And now he created a new opportunity. What he's making in 6 months, he can make it in maybe in the 6 weeks,
Right.
right? So unlimited possibilities.
Exactly. A couple of other additives for this is look for the who, not focus in on the how. Who is that person? Which is why I teamed up with Vamsi. I didn't know how to grow and scale a business. That's not what I do. I was clueless. So I found the who, I found the guy who would be able to drive me to where I needed to go. I didn't over invest in terms of my own like understanding about how to make this happen. I found the person that could really help me get there faster. So look for the who, not necessarily the how. That person is your how. They're collapsed. Second thing that I also want to talk about that you emphasized here, just as a benchmark for people in corporate, people who are watching, there actually is a guideline out there coming from human resources, SHRAM, which is the governing body of human resources, that says we should be investing 5% of our overall compensation every year in our own personal development. Why? So that we stay current with the marketplace, so we grow as leaders. I know very few people that keep that as a line item in their budget. They put aside 5% for other things, but they don't necessarily put that 5% for themselves. And it doesn't have to be a coach. It could be a course, it could be books, it could be whatever that is. It could be learning a new language. The idea here is to invest in your own learning. And I mean, that's something that I feel really passionate about. And a lot of that has been amplified through working with you.
Absolutely. Can I add one other example here real quick?
Of course.
Just imagine like you have kids and maybe your son or daughter's stuck in 7th grade in math. What do? You take your daughter to maybe Kumon, maybe go to take her to Mathnesium, put in like different programs. If she's stuck on the same grade for one more year, what do? You pretty much put everything what you're doing on the side and go and try to help your daughter, right? Because you don't want your daughter to be staying in the same grade for more than 2 years, not even like more than a year. You really wanted to push her to the next grade. So, staying stuck is not good. But when it comes to you have separate rules for your kids and you have separate rules for yourself.
I know.
You're stuck in the same job. How many years? 3, 5, maybe 10? Why you're not taking care like yourself, like you're taking care of your daughter? Pretty basic thing, right? You need to start asking help for people like, hey, I really wanted to go. I really wanted to show my kids what is possible. Just don't be the person just like a talk, show them what is possible. You have only one life.
At home, right?
Yeah.
Make more leaders right from the beginning in your house. So I want to talk about this secret sauce. Most people think that the answer to getting successful or being successful faster is action. That's what I hear all the time. Ooh, the reason why I'm not successful is because I have whatever is blocking me from that starting point. But you introduced me to something different. And this was kind of an eye-opener for me. And I'd love you to share this quote and this philosophy, specifically about what the secret ingredient is to being successful faster or accelerating your success. And that doesn't mean that we're advocating rushing, right? We're not like, okay, and just be a bulldozer and like, get out of the way and let me be successful. That's not what we're talking about. So can you help clarify what we are talking about so that we are using this session to impart this really sage piece of insight?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite quote. I always like repeat myself. Success doesn't take time; it takes courage. Want to repeat that again? Success doesn't take time; it takes courage. Always remember, everyone. Hard work not equal to success. If hard work equal to success, every person who is working on the roadside, the construction workers, they are really, really successful at their careers. No. Right? It's not just about the hard work. It's about the right work applying with the framework.
So talk to us about this courage piece, right? Yep. When you say success doesn't take long, it takes courage. Speak specifically to people who are perhaps in career transition, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are working in companies right now. What does that specifically mean?
Absolutely. So it's coming back to, if you really wanted to go in a linear fashion, like a 10% improvement, 20% improvement, you can do hard work. Maybe if you're working already 45 hours, you can work like 60, 70 hours. You can sacrifice your family member. That will get you 10, 15% more in what you're doing. If you really want 10 times more, you need to take a step back. You need to just like sit in a silence and start looking at what is that something that I really wanted to do here. Elevation requires separation. If you want what like 99% people things that they are getting that you don't want, you need to separate from them. You need to start asking different questions. Always like look at this like bow and arrow, right? In order for us to put this arrow towards like maybe the longer distances, you need to pull it back. So that is exactly like say it's not about the hard work. it's about the courage. The moment you make a decision, I really wanted to be this. I really wanted to be in this role. I really wanted to give this to my family. I really wanted to experience that in my life. That requires slowness.
Mhm.
And it's not about adding more. It's about removing the things that no longer serving you. Removing the things about like your mental attitude, the game that you are playing all these years in the career. You need to just like maybe go to a mind architect and get that re-tattooed. That's what we do in the masterminds with all the awesome players, right? So re-tattoo so many things, like create the new habits, new rituals. And the moment you get that, I think you're going to be unstoppable. One step at a
Oh
time.
boy, you're getting some love here. Tiffany, thank you. Great point, Vamsi. Another comment here from Rebecca. And thanks for also capturing that. Jane, success doesn't take time, it takes courage. Brilliant, brilliant. And also, David, so glad that you're here as well. Denise, time to get rid of that stuff. It does not serve me. Not going to wait for spring cleaning. I love these. I love these quips here. This is awesome. I think that this is really powerful, right? Thank you, Jane, for capturing that as well. This is a total mind bender for me. It was, and I will say that part of practicing the courage comes from a lot of the practices that you also encourage us to do, which is building the reps and the muscles, to do what's uncomfortable. Talk just a little bit about that. I love this. I love this person that chimed in here. I came here by accident. There are no accidents, but what great timing for me to hear this. And somebody else here too. Telsa, this is great. Wow, timely information. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So talk about, like, I know a lot of people say, "Ooh, you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable." But how does that connect with the courage?
Absolutely. So easy way to build this muscle is do the difficult things. Start small. You don't have to be just like tomorrow I'm going to be signing up for a marathon. I wanted to go and finish that race. No, start something small. Do uncomfortable things. Maybe first thing in the morning, take a cold shower. Every part of your body is going to say, no, 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 it's cold outside. You are going to have two zones every single time. It's a comfort zone and the combat zone. I want to repeat again. Comfort zone and a combat zone. So you need to choose where you are spending some time. Are you spending time, too much time on the comfort zone and no time on the combat zone? That muscle is going to go weak. So choose yourself, like, am I spending time in this combat zone? So I'm getting this stronger and stronger. So this is not for your physical fitness or anything else. When you show up for that interview, when you go for that pitch, when you go for that, like the next coffee meeting, you show up like a different human being. The person can feel on the other side, wow, look at that. I'm pretty sure, Lauren, you took a cold bath this morning.
No, not yet.
You did not. Okay, right. I took cold shower before coming here after my workout. So that's the reason, like, I think like you need to start small and just like slowly build from there.
I love this too, because if you are a leader, you got to walk your talk. I'm just saying. And it's really hard for me to encourage my clients, and probably hard for you to encourage your clients to do the hard things if you're not doing them yourself. Then I'm just a hypocrite. So everything that I share with anybody that works with me, I've done too. And I know it's not easy, but it works. And you build that muscle. Oh my goodness. Vamsi, you are just something else. And I know you've made more leaders just in this session. And I know that you've just shared so many great nuggets. I'm getting seeing the chat blow up. So thank you, everybody who is here. Make sure that you follow Vamsi on LinkedIn. Every single day, he brings in such unbelievable wisdom, power, game-changing ideas, truly. And if you want that success, do something brave today. Do something that it takes courage, because otherwise you'll just be floating rather than swimming. So
Absolutely.
thank you for everything. Vamsi, hang around for a few minutes after this. And
Sure. One last thing, everyone.
oh
Be
yeah.
the CEO of your life. I want to
Mm.
repeat that again. Be the CEO of your life. Start before you are ready.
Yes.
All right.
Start before you're ready. Go be the CEO of your life. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And I will speak to you guys very soon and see you next Wednesday. Thanks again.